Pile On listeners, we are back getting ready for week 9 of the NFL season. There's a lot of good stuff coming in this week and a lot on the news front, let alone the games coming up on this weekend. But I'm Big Z, representing the Detroit Lions. Let's go around the rest of the horn. So we got Barney representing the Bears.
The bad news Bears.
Then we got Remy representing the Vikings.
If you smell what the chef is cooking, that's Dalvin Cook, baby. Skull. Great to be back.
And then last but not least, Kinger representing the Pack.
Go Pack. We're ready to conquer our fears in San Francisco tomorrow night. Get the ball back on track.
All right. And, man, there's a lot to talk about, and we'll hit them up when we talk about each individual team's games here. But let's dive into that Thursday night game, Kinger, right away. If you could just inform everybody what's going on. I know there's A.J. Dillon tested positive, right? And then both running backs might be out. Can you update us on that? And then in addition to that, also, what's going on with the 49ers?
Yeah, I don't really know what the hell's going on either, boys, to be honest. This was kind of just a crazy turn of events, and how everything kind of developed in motion this week was pretty unexpected. And like I said, everything moved very, very fast. So, yeah, apparently A.J. Dillon received a positive test Sunday. I don't know. It was a test before the game, I think, from the last week that they didn't discover until after the fact. He immediately gets placed on the list, and due to the close contact rules that the NFL has set into motion, Jamal Williams and Kamal Martin, our inside linebacker, were both placed under the high-risk list, or whatever they call it, and it doesn't appear that any of those guys are going to be available for the game this week. So, first COVID exposure for the Packers this year. You kind of knew it was inevitable and was going to happen at some point, and here we are. And same thing for the Niners, right? Developing news today, as of this morning, they have a wide receiver test positive, and due to
Bourne, right?
Yeah,
Bourne?
Kendrick Bourne, I think it was, and due to the close contact things they have in place as well, they've got to put another couple players on that position as well. I think Trent Williams is there. I don't know who else, but the Niners obviously have an absolutely lengthy injury report as is right now, and this has not put them in a very good position.
Only in 2020, Kinger. What's going on with just everything? We got. I mean, every team in the NFL seems to have a COVID case going on now.
Yeah, Ayuk is the other one. I'm looking at it right now. Ayuk's the other one that's going to be out tomorrow night for the Niners. So this is crazy. Like I said, we don't really know what's going on. I thought there was a decent chance the NFL was going to postpone this game today. I was anticipating maybe a Monday, Tuesday reschedule to try and get some of these guys back, especially these high contact guys, because I think if they get a couple of negative tests, they can get back into it with the team and keep going with activities. So we'll see. Who knows what we're going to get tomorrow night. It seems the NFL announced tonight we're moving forward, so we're going to have football tomorrow, it appears, with or without these guys.
The NFL will do whatever they can not to lose their Thursday night slot, especially because I'm sure there's some deal that Fox needs to have that Thursday night game and paid a lot of money for it. I don't know, but let's get back to the actual game part of it now, and for who's going to be on the field here. The 49ers, I think producer Kid J told us that their offense is going to be featuring nobody on the field that touched the ball that played in that game last year against you in the NFC Championship, Kinger. So do you think that bodes well for your defense going into this game?
You'd think so, right? I mean, the Niners are straight in injury hell right now, so you'd hope that the defense may be licking their chops, and this would be a week for them to show what they're made of and have a better performance. But, if we're talking about that, I'm disappointed, quite frankly, that this is the situation that we're in. As, we talked about last year, the Packers just absolutely got shredded in 2 games in San Francisco last year. The Niners completely ran all over him. 285 rushing yards in the NFC Championship game last year. When 227 in the regular season, just absolutely gashed them, made them look really like they didn't belong on the same field at all. And I was looking forward to Green Bay coming in and hopefully getting another shot at them and seeing if they could step up and compete with, what was one of the best teams in football last year. Obviously, this year has not been the case that much, but still, the Matt LaFleur, Kyle Shanahan hype has been fun to watch over the last season or so. Obviously, they've got a history, buddies that everybody's well aware of by now at this point. So I was looking forward to a full strength game, but this is the cards that we've been dealt. We got to play with the players on the field. The running back situation is going to be very interesting. Aaron Jones is still questionable with that calf. I really don't know what we're going to do if Aaron Jones isn't good to go now that we don't have Williams and Dillon. So that's going to be something to watch. But
who do you think at running back?
So that we don't really have too many options. So Tyler Irvin, who is our return specialist, they're thinking about potentially trying to throw him as a little bit of a hybrid running back. Historically, he's not been his strength has not been out of the backfield. And then the other guy, Dexter Williams, he was a 6th-round pick out of Notre Dame a couple years ago. He's been on our practice squad. He's gotten some game action, but has not shown that he's really a capable runner and been even worse in the passing game when it comes to stepping up in protection. So the Packers are really I don't know what we're going to do tomorrow night. We've got John Lovett, who's a fullback we signed. Expect to see him in the game a little bit, at least maybe for some protection from Rodgers, but it's going to be a unique challenge tomorrow night for sure. And obviously the 49ers are dealing with the same thing on the other side of the ball.
Barney, maybe they could take a page out of the Bears playbook and put a wide receiver running back on 4th down. Right?
That would take some really creative genius.
Hey, now we started that trend with Cordero first.
Did Cordero play out of the backfield for the Vikings at some point?
I've watched him score a 69 yard touchdown against the Rams back in, I think it was like 2003. It was the year that Adrian Peterson got in trouble for switching his kid, because that was the game right before he got suspended. But it was just I think it was a sweep, like a sweep to him, halfback toss or something, and it's 69 yards. So good.
I didn't realize he was doing that in Minnesota. I thought it started in New England and then continued with the Bears.
Zimmer recognized his Swiss Army knife skill before everyone else.
Kinger, you got to be feeling pretty confident about your defense in this game too, right? Is everybody healthy? And because I know nobody on the 49ers offense is healthy.
Yeah, I mean, I am feeling good about the defense, but again, back to this conversation that we're having here. I'm a little bit bummed that we're not getting the full strength, right? Because it almost feels like Green Bay is obviously now expected to step up and win this week, and with all the injuries on the San Francisco side of the ball, you'd expect them to hopefully show some dominance here and take control this week. But yeah, I mean, defensive side of the ball for Green Bay, Kevin King is still going to be questionable. Obviously, we're going to be down Kamal Martin now, our inside linebacker, who has stepped up the last couple weeks and been one of the bright spots on the defensive side. We're going to see about Christian Kirksey. It's not looking again like he's going to be ready to go this week. We're going to wait and see, but across the board, Darnell Savage again, same situation. So we're hurting as well still. But I think again, it's lining up that I'd hope that we're still able to eliminate or limit Nick Mullen's success in the rest of that offense this week.
All right. So looking at the line, it's Packers favored by 7 in this game, and the over-under is 48.5. So let's go around, get our predictions for this one. So, Kinger, we'll start with you, man. How you feeling about your team? Probably good.
I feel good. For all the reasons we just mentioned, you got to think that Green Bay is going to bounce back. LaFleur hasn't lost 2 games in a row as a head coach. It's short week, everybody dealing with injuries, but I like Aaron Rodgers over Nick Mullins still. I think it is going to be a little bit of a low-scoring game, or more low-scoring game, but I think the Packers are hopefully going to take control. I'm going to take them 23-13.
23. All right. Barney.
Yeah, just looking up at all the injuries that San Fran's going through. I think it's going to be a pretty ugly game for them. I do think I have a lot of respect for the offensive minds for both teams. So I'm hoping there will be some, it'll be at least a little bit entertaining. But Aaron Rodgers, like Kinger said, Aaron Rodgers versus Nick Mullins. I have 27-16 Green Bay.
All right. Remy.
Yeah, so, we've seen Nick Mullins ball out, and if the Packers really want to consider themselves contenders versus pretenders, it's a must-win game. I mean, if you come out, you lose to Minnesota, you come out, if you blow this game, I don't know. I just don't know, especially against a depleted Niners team. That being said, my two rules is I don't root for the Packers or bet on them or the Saints. We've seen Nick Mullins do great things, but those great things have been with guys like George Kittle, who now won't have. But I think Nick Mullins is going to work with what he has, and I'm going to say it's 28-17 Niners.
All right. Yeah, I do think the 49ers will be competitive just because I believe Kyle Shanahan's a really good coach and can scheme up against anybody with anybody on the field. He's proven it multiple times. But at a certain point, you lose too many people. The San Francisco 49ers have $80 million in salary cap space not on the IR right now. It's pretty wild. I don't think you can win with that. 7's a tough line in this game. I think it is a 7-point game, so I would avoid it. But I'm going to go 27-20 Packers in this one as well. Because the Packers, for whatever reason, they struggle against the 49ers. It's one of those teams. When's the last time you beat the 49ers, Kinger?
Ooh, I don't know off the top of my head.
Yeah.
I can think of a lot of losses, not a lot of wins over the last 5 or 6 years.
Yeah, same. But let's move on to the next game now. So that's the Thursday night game. We're moving on to Sunday. And Remy, my Lions, traveling
Let's go.
to Minnesota.
Let's go.
Some news I'm glad we waited to podcast till today. This game isn't even on the board right now for betting because Matt Stafford might or might not play. He does not have COVID, but he's one of those high.
I thought I saw him I thought I saw Minnesota at -4.
That's what it was, but I'm looking right now at the board. Do you guys see it on your board? I don't see it. I'm just looking at FanDuel right now. I think they took it off because of the Stafford thing. That's a huge swing in the line.
Yeah.
It was Lions were 4-point underdogs before the Stafford thing. So what Stafford has to do, Andrade Davis is out too. I think he's the one that actually contracted COVID. He will not be playing in this game, but Stafford TBD on Sunday.
Yeah, Stafford
there
has a good chance Stafford plays.
Yeah, so he's a high contact, and he has to fly on a private plane by himself to Minnesota, which sounds kind of nice. But then he has to wait around on Sunday, get that negative result, and then he can play. So, and his whole family tested negative, so he's highly likely to be able to play. It's sort of a cautionary thing and part of the rules of the NFL.
And that's Big Z. That's going to be huge because as we've seen in the past, outside of Green Bay and Chicago, I think the Lions and the Vikings play each other really well. I mean, there's some last second, a couple Thanksgivings ago, even they always play pretty well. And it's decided by 1 or 2 turnovers. I mean, your guys just walk off in the Dome. The first year we had the Dome when Golden Tate decided to pull a edge and spinning heel kick Andrew Sendejo into the end zone. But no, you guys always play us really well. And what I think benefits us and for our corners is we're coming off our high horse game against the Packers. We're out our first starting 3 corners, so we're itching for our 4th and 5th guy who stepped up. I think having your star receiver out will benefit us, but it's just Stafford, man. I've seen what Stafford can do with 50 seconds left or 46 seconds left when you kick off to him with 3 timeouts.
Yeah. What I'm worried about in this game, I do like the fact that your secondary is pretty weak, especially with the injuries going on. But we don't have Kenny Galladay in this game. We're going to have to rely on Marvin Jones a lot. Marvin Hall.
Who's a great receiver, by the way, Jones.
Yes. He doesn't get a lot of separation. That's his biggest issue. He's a guy that is like
Beast
a
in
contested
fantasy,
catch guy.
though.
Last week he was. Otherwise, he's had a pretty down year in fantasy. That's what worries me a little bit. In these games, the first 3 games when Kenny Galladay was gone this year, Marvin Jones, almost non-existent. Like, he didn't exceed 50 yards in any game.
So Kinger, if my notes and memory serves correctly, we're on a 5-game win streak against you guys. I don't think you guys have beaten us since 2017. I think it was probably since that walk-off, I want to say.
You mean me? You mean the Lions?
Oh, yeah, the Lions. Sorry.
Yeah.
So I mean,
yeah.
what's the key? What's the key? How do you guys come to? I mean, granted, we have no fans. How do you approach? How do you game?
Well, first of all, that's really nice. Can you answer me? Are they playing that stupid ass horn? In these games still on third down?
Of course.
Okay. That's annoying.
You just don't get the skull chant.
Great. Darn. Shoot. But the number one thing the Lions have to do coming in this is stop the run, plain and simple. I mean, load the box, whatever you got to do. Put the ball in Kirk Cousins' hands. Do you know Kirk Cousins averaged 1.8 yards per pass attempt last game? It was all script.
I mean, that's good. That's what you want to see in weather conditions where it's 30-mile-per-hour winds. And, hey, like I've been saying this whole podcast, this whole summer, screens, throw 20 of them if you have to. We need to throw the screens. The screen's working. Hey, we're going to be in a dome. You might see an emergence of Justin Jefferson or twice. This is going to be a really good matchup.
And the Lions are going to be
Okudah.
Yeah. I mean, Okuda's been playing much better lately. He only gave up 20 yards last game. Both were on end of the first half, I think. So he's really good in the run game. He's a top 4 cornerback in terms of going against the run. He's a really good tackler. Hustles
open
after
field
play.
tackler, yeah.
Yeah, no, he's way better than I ever expected in that regard.
That's what I liked about Trey Waynes.
The Lions are going to miss. Yeah, the Lions are going to miss Trey Flowers. He's one of their better run defenders. He's really good at keeping contained, setting the edge. So John Pennicini, Deshaun Hand, Romeo Aquara is going to need to step up here. This is the return of Everson Griffin, too, to Minnesota.
And
Remy,
Adrian Peterson.
Do you fear what he's going to bring back to Minnesota?
Yes and no. Yes, because it's Everson Griffin, and he knows our offense. He's gone up against Riley Reif in practice every day for the last 10 years. I don't know, the last however many years, anyway. But Riley Reif, since restructuring, has been phenomenal. I don't think he allowed one single pressure last week against the Packers.
You only threw it 14 times, and he threw quick screens all game.
Hey, I mean,
I would hope he didn't allow a pressure.
Anyway, the man's been balling. I think, I realistically, I think I want to see Griff do good. I want to see Griff get a missed sack or two, but realistically, I think Griff is all hype, and he gets shut down. I do worry about Peterson.
Wow, that makes one of us. I would not worry about Peterson. I hope he has 2 carries in this game, and they're both on the goal line or something like that.
Go off for 297 and break your own record against your own team, son.
I mean, that'd be phenomenal, but there's no chance in hell that's happening. Even if he broke free on a run, I don't think he would get caught from behind at this point. He doesn't have. I don't know what the Lions are doing with Adrian Peterson. It's just befuddling. His EPA is one of the lowest of any running back in the league. So every time you hand him the ball, we're more likely to not score than to score. That's what that means.
I'd say the biggest benefit you guys have too is, I mean, our starting corners going into this game is our rookie Jeff Gladney, and then we got Chris Boyd and Harrison Hand, who we chose in the 5th or 6th round. So, on that note,
I was okay.
take it away.
I thought you were going on to something right there.
No.
I thought you were
I was just stating how pathetic our cornerback depth is.
Oh, Jesus. Well, yes, it is not good. It is not good. But you're going to escape Kenny Galladay, which is huge. Our offense 3-1 when Kenny Galladay plays 4 quarters, 1-3 when 0-3 when he has not. So
It's gonna be a good one.
But let's yeah, it's gonna be a good one. I just need stop the run. Taylor Decker also was out of practice today, but I think he's gonna play. He's playing with a bum shoulder right now. Big V, our big offseason tackle, he didn't practice either today. But we do have some depth on the offensive line, so I think we'll be fine because we can throw Tyrell Crosby out there, Jonah Dixon, make a right guard, Joe Dahl. But let's get into the predictions now for this game. Let's just pretend the Lions are 4-point underdogs as was projected before it got taken off the board for the Stafford news. We probably won't see a line on this till Sunday. I forgot to look at what the over-under is. I'm going to guess it's 44.5 without looking. That's just a complete guess. But Remy, let's go with you. What's your prediction for this game?
I think the Vikings offense is going to explode. 32-25. Minnesota, obviously.
Ooh. Interesting. Last year, the Lions and Vikings played like a ridiculously high-scoring game. Marvin Jones had 2 touchdowns in that game. Do you remember that, Remy?
Yeah, don't remind me. Actually, no.
Wait,
I think
won
I
it.
had him in fantasy, but I think I benched him. I benched him because I don't play anyone going up against that Vikings defense, and I was kicking myself. But I don't know.
That's why it's surprising how high scoring the game was. It was like 42-35 or something like that. I can't remember off the top of my head. But anyways, I really want Stafford to play. Barney, how reliable is Chase Daniels? How
He beat
faithful
Minnesota.
would you be in Chase?
He beat Minnesota in
be-
Chicago.
What was that, like 13-7 was the score or something like that?
He beat Minnesota. He beat Detroit every time he played them.
Yeah, but they were like 17-10 games. He handed off the ball.
It doesn't matter.
He's
if
3-0
you win.
against our
Wait.
teams.
But I'm asking Barney here. He's the one that had Chase Daniels around for a while. Mitch Trubisky's biggest fan, Chase Daniels. Didn't Chase Daniels like get his autograph one time or something like that at a training camp?
Yeah.
That's what I meant by his biggest fan. I'm just joking around. But would you have any faith in Chase Daniels' ability to beat Minnesota if he was to be the starting quarterback?
I think it's tough, man. The only way I think Detroit wins is if Kirk Cousins beats himself.
Well, that's very possible.
It is.
So, wait, but since I'm asking you, Barney, what is your prediction if Chase Daniels is starting quarterback for the Lions, and what's your prediction if Stafford starts for the Lions?
Good question. If Chase Daniels is playing, I would say it's going to be 31-16, Minnesota.
Okay.
If Matt Stafford's playing, I still expect Dalvin Cook to be able to dictate the tempo here, especially with your really, really good run-stopping linebacker out in Gerard Davis.
He sucks. He's a terrible run-stopping linebacker.
That was sarcasm.
Oh, okay. Okay.
But I would say that it's a little bit closer. The backdoor cover's in play, but I still have Minnesota winning. Maybe it's a closer game as 27-24 or Minnesota.
All right. And I have the Lions winning this one. I'm assuming Stafford plays. I'm pretty confident he's going to play. 31-23. I like their ability to stop the run. The Lions have looked good against the run the last 3 weeks. The stats are a little skewed from last week because they had a lot of backups in, and the Colts were just handing it off in the fourth quarter. But before that, it was like they only were allowing 40 yards for the game. But Kinger, let's get to your last prediction for this game. Lions at Minnesota.
You know how my dumb brain works, boys. So you know that after I watched Minnesota just absolutely shred Green Bay last week, and I watched Detroit get absolutely shredded by the Colts last week, then I'm going to go Minnesota this week. I know what you mean there, Big Z, shaking your head, but I'm going to go Minnesota this week. Detroit, has been hanging around in most games this year. I will give them credit. The Stafford thing makes it interesting, but I think Minnesota's maybe found a little bit of a rhythm. These guys seem to be playing a little bit harder, clicking a little bit right now, and so I'm gonna take the hot hand in Minnesota. I think they're gonna bounce back this week. I think it's gonna be 28-14 Minnesota.
I respect that, Kinger, and I will. I'll lighten up on the Packer jokes. I mean, that means a lot to me, buddy.
it was a game with 30-mile-per-hour winds, Kinger, and the Vikings are just coming off a 40-23 ass kicking at home against the Falcons.
Come on,
but they turned the corner, huh? They turned the corner. Wow.
Hey, again,
one game. You gotta love the NFL. All the narrative changes in 1 week.
I have a feeling we'll be texting back and forth all day Sunday, Big Z.
I'm sure.
They looked like the best rushing team in football last week, and so that's
because the Packers have a bad run defense. We knew that going into the game.
My brain says they're incredible right now, and so they're going to do the same thing to the Lions this week.
You self-proclaimed to have a dumb brain. I'm going to have to agree with you, Kinger. And all of you, you're all picking against the Lions. No faith. You don't see it. You all don't see it. If Chase Daniels starts, it'll be close, but. If not, if he doesn't, if Stafford's in, 31-23. All right, let's go on to the last one. Barney, your Bears are on the road at Tennessee. The Bears are big underdogs again, Barney. No respect. 6-point underdogs on the road. The over-under, 46.5. How are you feeling about the Bears coming to this, especially going against that run offense of the Titans and Derrick Henry?
Gentlemen, I got to tell you, I can't even fake it. Not interested at all for probably the first time in a very long time for a Sunday game here. It does add fuel to the fire that I just got my email from Southwest saying that my trip to Tennessee for this game, obviously that I had to cancel. But earlier in our preseason, one game to travel to, this was the game I had hoped to have a fun time drinking some beverages here. But
you been in Nashville?
I have, and it's
great time. It is a good time.
It always shows me a great hospitality, but.
A lot of Chicago presence down there usually.
Yeah, absolutely. But right now, the tail of the tape is the top 10 offense versus top 10 defense. The other respected sides of the football for each team aren't very good. The Bears almost last in every offensive statistical category, but the Titans really don't have a good defense to show for either. They have trouble getting after the quarterback. Last week, Joe Burrow, with 5 brand new offensive linemen, all of his starters out, was able to defeat them. So it kind of shows that, they are a little bit vulnerable. They're not as tough as they had been in the last couple of years. But boy, I am. I'm disheveled. I'm disheveled, boys. I looked at the injury report. We got seven starters on there that didn't practice today. 2 of them, Akeem Hicks and Danny Trevathan were just on rest. But, Eddie Jackson still dealing with like a knee tweak from the Rams game. Cody Whitehair tweaked his calf. He might not be back in. And really, I'm really worried about our offensive line. The injury bug and the COVID bug has seemed to have a clean sweep here, except for the one guy I wish got injured in Charles Leno, because I feel like that's the only way he's going to be off the line. The starting lineup is due to injury. But for some reason, well, it's not for some reason. It's because he doesn't really do anything. So it's kind of hard to get hurt when you're not doing much. But it's a scary look here. We already are one of the worst lines. And we're trying out there Leno, Coward. We don't even know who's going to play center. Whitehair, if he can't play because of his calf, his replacement last week, Sam Mustipher, he tweaked his knee, so he's doubtful right now. So we don't even know who's going to be our center. On the other side, Massey got hurt, and then Spriggs, his replacement, got COVID. So he's out. And then because of that close contact, Jermaine Ifedi, he is doubtful. So we're going to be trotting out there, two of our uh, seventh round draft picks because we knew we had such a good line that we decided to wait to the seventh round to start investing here. And a man by the name of Lachavious Simmons and Arlington Hambright, I feel like is like on Create a Player, like that's like their generic like name that comes up on like Madden. They'll be out there. Alex Bars, I'm sure, will find his way out there. But boy, I guess if you're going to go up against a team, that's having a little bit of struggles in getting after the quarterback,
right.
I guess it's not the worst time for that to happen. But
yeah, Barney, last week the Titans, I think the Bengals had 46 dropbacks against the Titans last week. It was 42 or 46. Either way, and the Bengals have given up most sacks in the league. And the Titans had 2 pressures on them all game. No sacks and only 2 pressures. That is horrible.
Yeah.
I just want to throw that out there about how bad the pass rush of this Titans team is.
Oh, definitely. You got to start thinking, they cut Vic Beasley. He hasn't done anything, or they released him. So, that's one guy that's prominent, I would say, in their pass rush attack. But you got to think maybe Jadeveon Clowney's a little bit injured because on most weeks he doesn't play or practice until Thursday or whatnot, and looks like he sat out for a rest today. And you got Jeffrey Simmons, the defensive tackle out of Mississippi State, real good run stopper. He's a little banged up, so it's nice to see that from a Bears perspective, but I have absolutely zero faith in our ability to perform well, because you know what, when we have 90% health on the offensive side of the ball, it's still not a good product to watch. And so the fact that half the starters might be out, Trubisky will be out because apparently he got hurt holding his clipboard this week. But I was kind of thinking, maybe we should trot Trubisky back in there just for the sole reason that we can't block worth a nickel, so we might as well have a guy who can, scramble and whatnot. But
wait a second. Did I ask you this question a week or two ago and about Trubisky getting back on there, and did you say absolutely not?
Well, I think you said if Nick Foles doesn't have a good game, would you want Mitch Trubisky? And I'm saying more so that 4 of the 5 linemen are going to be out, so maybe I would want Mitch Trubisky out there.
Nice recover. Okay, nice recover.
Yes or no? But guys, I got to tell you, I'm not excited at all for this game. The way we got to stop, the way we're going to have a chance is dedicating our defensive side to stopping that run. They're out Taylor Lewan, one of their best linemen. If we can kind of put a clamp down on Derrick Henry, which is a tall task to do, maybe we can get after Tannehill and not give him as much time. But I'm seeing a lot of what we faced versus the Rams, a lot of play action and whatnot, and we really struggled in that department. So hopefully we clean it up and make some adjustments here and whatnot. But not real excited for Sunday. I might go golfing.
Question, Barney, just like around beat writers and fan pages, what has Chicago fully bought into Foles, or is it still just a divide, some want Mitch, some want Foles?
Yeah, it's divided. I think Chicago beat writers are the worst in all of sports, to be honest. They're brutal. There's not a single beat writer out there that I would say is a quality journalist, to be honest. But I don't know. I mean, you got people saying, should Trubisky be back in and all that stuff. And it's do you really think that's what's going to fix the offense? I thought we went down that road and the offense was still pretty shitty. It should be addressed But anyway, I'm going to get to a prediction here because I'm already getting bored and might fall asleep just talking about this game. I think the Bears win a defensive battle here. And it's going to be to the tune of 12-9.
Ouch.
With the Bears, that's always a very possible score. But you're gonna predict a Bears win and still maybe not watch or just call it boring. A win's a win, and that's exciting to me at least.
I just, you know how Remy said his one rule is he doesn't bet against the Packers or
The Saints.
with the Saints.
He bets.
I know, but he's shown that he's taken teams other than Minnesota, and that's where we falter here. I'm a big dumb idiot who's always going to believe the Bears will win, but if we're going to win this game, it's going to be real fucking ugly.
All right, Kinger, how do you feel?
Yeah, if we're looking at a 12-9 game. I mean, I just feel, if Barney's right, feel sorry for the viewers. I hope it's not that ugly. This game on paper to me actually did seem a little earlier in the season like it was going to provide a little more excitement, but things have obviously changed, so it's going to be a little bit interesting on both sides. I like Tennessee this week again. I think the offense is going to be enough. I do anticipate the Bears defense to play well again, but overall, I do like Tennessee's ability to run the football still, which I still think the Bears struggle with a little bit, and think they are going to be able to exploit that offensive line. We'll see. I did not know that stat Big Z threw out about last week when they played Cincinnati. That's pretty interesting. Pottered my decision maybe a little bit, but no, I'm going to take the Titans 20-13. I think they win the game this week.
All right, Remy.
Yeah, no. I mean, I do like the Bears. I mean, the Titans are just dogs, though. And I like the Titans. I like them at 21-17 Titans.
21-17. All right. I'm gonna agree with that one, Remy. I'm gonna agree with your score. 21-17.
Great minds think alike.
I think that's a perfect score for this game, or it's gonna be something weird like Barney suggested, 12-9, 16-9, 16-13, or something weird like that. It's gonna be close. But I do think the run game of the Titans prevail, and I don't think the Bears' run defense is still great. It's just mediocre, I'd say. What would you grade it? Would you say it's above average, Barney? Would you say it's just all right?
Yeah, I mean, it's not as good as year past, right?
Yeah.
Missing some key guys for that, but it's about as expected at this point. I think Danny Trevathan just came off his best game of the year, which is nice. He had a slow start, but I like our linebackers are undersized in Roquan and Danny, but I think they do a real good job there. So I would probably say they're like a B-.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, that sounds about right. That's a solid grade right there, slightly above average. All right, so listeners, that's going to wrap up our Week 9 preview of NFC North games. But now we're going to move on to our last segment. It's time for Best Bets. So Barney, hit us with an update on our best bets so far heading into Week 9 in the NFL season.
So, I'm not going to lie. Last week, the three of you guys taking some lumps there. 1 and 2s across the board. I was hoping for the perfect week, but Danny Dimes decided to have a hell of a game versus Tampa Bay, so I faltered on Monday night. I went 2-1. The standings goes Kinger at the bottom with 10-13-1. Remy 1 game ahead of him with 11-12-1. Big C, you're at 13-11, and I am 15-9.
Nice. All right, I can catch up.
So,
the one just really quick about Danny Dimes, Barney. I had his over at 219.5 passing yards, and he was at 206 on that 4th and 15 from midfield, and he completes that 4th and 15 to get the over on the passing yards. It was a beautiful sight. That's all I have to say.
I was smiling for you. I took one of those like free $10 bets that FanDuel will randomly give you, and I just put a absolutely diabolical parlay 10 win parlay out there for like 10 grand. And I only hit on one of those. So that wasn't my best showing there. But, getting into this week's slate, I'm hoping to keep that momentum here. I don't want to use I kind of like we touched on earlier in the segment. There's a couple games that are just drastically affected right now by the COVID issues. So some of them aren't up right now. So I will not be using some of those. So I'm going to say my 3 will go with. I'm going to go with Houston. Houston -6.5. Just an ugly. I think Gardner Minshew's not playing, so it's just some random rookie. And not to say that he'll have the worst day ever, but I'm betting Deshaun Watson covers by a touchdown. I'm gonna take.
Yeah, Jake Luton is the starter now for Jacksonville. Rookie, another 6th-round draft pick for the Jaguars, by the way, a quarterback. He's out of Oregon State.
Okay. A little
6'7".
Little beaver. All right. And then I'm going to go Las Vegas. They're getting 1.5. I just think they're a good team. And the Chargers are, the Chargers are struggling. They're playing really well. They just keep giving up leads. And
How about that game last week against the Broncos? I thought it was over. And then I get a text Broncos. My one buddy lost $2,300 on the Chargers and a heavy teaser, a money line parlay or something like that. First of all, that just wild, but
yeah, Drew Lock to KJ Hamler. But I think they went 4 straight games with giving up 16-point lead or something like that. But
the Chargers still do what they do. It's kind of like the Lions do what they do. Some of these teams just they're cursed,
Right. So I'm hoping Las Vegas can control the run there and take that game. And then lastly, I think I'll just dive into Pitt -13.5. Who are they facing? They're facing
Cowboys.
They're facing the Cowboys, and I think the Cowboys right now could possibly be the worst team in the league. So, I think just that front 7, that entire defense is just awesome. And Big Ben's still showing that he can sling it. So that's a lot of points to cover, but I think they do it.
Yeah, and I think the Cowboys starting quarterback this week is going to be Cooper Rush. I don't think they've announced it yet, at least not to my knowledge.
Why does that name?
They did not.
I've seen some reports.
They did not like that DiNucci guy that started last week. They're just desperate. And by the way, Jacksonville, really quick, Barney, before we move on. Do you know who their backup was, and now this Jake Luton, this rookie off the practice squad, is starting over? Mike Glennon, baby.
Wow.
Mike Glennon got passed over for a practice squad 6th-round rookie.
Well, he's a fucking giraffe, so I'm glad Luton will be strutting his stuff out there.
All right, let's head it over to Kinger here. Best bets for week 9.
I'm going to head back and hit some teams that I have been on a few times this season. So the first game I'm getting back on this Redskins-Giants game. Well, I'm sorry, Washington football team Giants game. I was on this game earlier in the season. The Giants were 3-point favorites, leading the whole game, and then the Redskins lead a drive at the end, score a touchdown with less than 10 seconds left, and Riverboat Ron decides to go for 2. Doesn't get it. The Giants win the game, but only by 1 point. It was a terribly bad beat. I'm back on them this week. They're 2.5-point underdogs. I'm going to hop back on the Giants after the performance that they played versus Tampa. I think they're gonna perform well again this week, and I like them against Washington. Next game, I am going to get on. I'm still anti-Tua. I don't think the Dolphins looked that good last week. The defense really carried them. They're going out to Arizona this week. They're 4.5-point underdogs. I'm going to take the Cardinals to cover that at home. I like Kyler Murray. I don't think that defense is going to repeat the same performance. And then last game, again, it's kind of tough for me. They're coming off a tough loss last week, but I think they look pretty well. I like Baltimore this week, -2 against Indianapolis. Indianapolis is dealing with some injuries over there. They're not quite sure where they're going to be with some key positions. And I just think this is a week that Indianapolis just kind of lays a dud. I don't know. They're off a pretty good performance. They're a very up and down team, as we all know. So I'm going to take the Ravens to bounce back this week. Those are my 3 bets this week.
And Kinger, I think you might even be able to grab that. I'm guessing a lot of money is going to go towards the Giants as we head closer to Sunday. I wouldn't be surprised if that line moves to -2.5 or 2. So I would personally, I would caution viewers to wait until that to see if that line moves. I don't think it's going to move in the Redskins' direction.
Well, the Giants are the Giants are 2.5-point underdogs right now. You're saying it's this?
Okay. I see 3 points on mine. So I'm looking at Bet Rivers personally.
Yeah,
so it depends on where you look at it. 2.5, yes, for sure.
Yeah.
I thought he said 3 points on your thing.
Sorry. Yeah.
All right. I like it. All right, Remy, let's go to you, man.
All right.
3-0, feeling 3-0 this week?
Let's hope so. I've got a feeling, or should I say, I've got a feeling. Anyway, no, I really like Atlanta -4 against the Broncos. This Texans-Jaguar game, I'm gonna take the under. I think the under is 51.5. I
have 50.5 right now.
50. Okay, I'm taking the under. Kind of mirroring what Barney says, sloppy game. So I'm taking the under in that, and then actually I'm taking the Colts +2.5 against the Ravens.
Mm-hmm. The Colts look really good last week on defense, especially. I do like that because their ability to stop the run is really good with that front seven they have, and Darius Leonard healthy. So I do kind of like that play. I don't know if I'm going to put it in mine, but I do like that.
Well, why don't you tell us?
All right, let me do it. Barney, I'm going to start. I like yours. 6.5 Texans. I really like that. If it goes to 7, I will not be taking it. I will probably buy the half point to make sure it's at 6.5. If it goes to 7.5, then I'm just not going to play it. But 6.5, I really do like that. I think this Jaguars team is just not good. This Texans team, up and down, but they still have a lot of talent to win this game by 7. It's on the road, but again, home and road don't mean anything this year, especially. The second one, I'm also going to agree with Kinger. I like the Cardinals at home against the Dolphins. This is a cross-country game for the Dolphins. Tua had the worst grade for any quarterback debuting. Ironically, this is per PFF at least, a per PFF grade. And actually, take it with a grain of salt because the best ever debut for a rookie quarterback for PFF in his first game was Josh Rosen. So how'd that work out for him? So that's my second one, the Cardinals. I really like that one at home. I think that Dolphins team just got really lucky last week, and that line is favoring them a little too much. And then the last one, I keep going back and forth. I'm really tempted to take the Patriots at 7 points just because it's the Jets, but I can't do it. Barney, I really like your Steelers one at 13.5. It's 4. I mean, yeah, that Cowboys team's bad, but I feel like they could be competitive. You know what? I'm just gonna go. I'm gonna go Seahawks on the road, 3 points. I think that Bills team, they look really vulnerable. Especially on defense. And I think the Seahawks might have figured out a thing or two last week against the 49ers on defense. Carlos Dunlap's going to be playing in this game, so maybe they get a little more of a pass rush. But 3 points, this seems like a Seahawks win by 6 or more. So I would take that up to 5.5 personally. But that is our best bets for Week 9. So take that advice, soak it in, and get those wallets ready on Sunday. Hopefully we're filling them up for you. But that's all we got. This is the Pylon NFC North podcast. Instagram at the Pylon. Please leave us a review on Apple. And please subscribe, Spotify, Apple, wherever you get your podcasts. We'd really appreciate it. And we got a lot of fun. And who knows with COVID what's going to go on Sunday. But either way, it'll be a lot of fun. The division is not wrapped up by any means, and we're heading to the second half of the season. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Again, this is the Pylon NFC North podcast. Have a great weekend, and good luck.